Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing some new releases book reviews. So I have read 2 January releases this month and I thought I would review them for you. So I have read both Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia of Faeries by Heather Fawcett and The Daughters of Izdihar by Hadeer Elsbai. So 2 new releases, both published by Orbit. I just thought I would quickly chat through my thoughts on these both. I'll start with Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia of Faeries. And preface to this, I really loved this book. I really enjoyed this one. So this book, we're following Emily Wilde, who is an academic and scholar on fairies. And in this book, she travels to the remote island of Hraunavik, which is a sort of Nordic island, to research the local fairies of that area. She is writing an Encyclopaedia of Faeries, so has been travelling around Europe writing this encyclopedia and becoming the leading researcher in fairies of her time. It's set in the early 1900s, and so we do have, I guess, the prejudice within the academic sphere that are interwoven through this as a female, a young female in academia. She is joined on her travels by her academic rival Wendell Bambleby, and their bantery relationship and their interactions throughout this book really were a highlight for me. But I did also really enjoy getting to know the side characters of the local townspeople on this island, as well as the Fae and the mysteries of the Fae on this island. So I think that one of the highlights for me were these characters. Like, I really liked Emily as our main character. She was so snarky. I really enjoyed reading. The book is written in sort of a diary style format with her thoughts at the forefront, and so her entries are so snarky, and her relationship with Wendell is just so funny to read about. Like, the way that they push and pull off each other is really cute to read. And then as well, the atmosphere of this island. It is cold, it is bleak, it is desolate, but there is a coziness to it as well. There is a coziness in the local people. There is a coziness in the cottage where she lives. There are these elements of coziness within this cold, bleak setting, and that cold atmosphere is very cold here right now in the UK, and I'm enjoying like reading the same vibe as the setting that I'm in. And other parts of this book are set, well, in the academia setting in Cambridge, so it did have that like UK feel to it, and yet the wintry feel with these fairies. And so I did really like exploring the mysteries of these fairies, and as we understood who the different fairies were on this island and their different powers, their different... I'm getting some real lines on me, one second. I really liked exploring the mysteries of the Fae on this island and the different fairies, their lore, their history, the mystery of them, because these do not seem like nice fairies. There do seem to be nicer fairies, and then there do seem to be quite dark ones as well, and the dark side of fairies. So I really enjoyed that. It is a series, so this is the first book in, I believe, a trilogy, but it ends on like a happy for so it does wrap up. It's not like a cliffhanger ending, but it is an ending where you know that there's going to be a continuation with these characters and a furthering of the plot. If you're trying to define this and like who I'd recommend this for, I would say that this is really good for readers that like Howl's Moving Castle or the Regency Fairy Tales books. I think this falls on the side of like cottagecore light academia. That I don't think it's quite on the cozy fantasy side of things, because it definitely does have a plot, and a plot with stakes, and a plot that really drives the narrative. So that would be my thoughts on what subgenre I would put it into. But I was so hooked with this book. I found the writing style really immersive that I could not put this book down. I think I read like the first 100 pages a little slowly, and then the last 200 pages I read like all the way through in one day. I stayed up late to finish this book because I had to know how it was going to end. Then I could not put it down until I was finished. Like, I haven't had a book for quite a while where I just could not put it down, where instead of saying how many pages is it until I finish the chapter, it was I finished another chapter, I need to read another one, I need to read another one until I finish this book. Like, I am not going to stop until I finish this book. I really enjoyed this. I found it very fun to read. It really like immersed me in this world and these characters. I completely escaped into this. So I would strongly recommend, if you are after that in a book and characters that you will grow to love. But I loved this, would strongly recommend it. And then the second new release that I read is The Daughters of Izdihar by Hadeer Elsbai. Elsbai or Elsbai, I'm not too sorry. And this is the start in a Egyptian-inspired duology centred around two female main characters. Nahal, who at the beginning of the book is forced into an arranged marriage with someone that she does not want to be with, but she takes it to she uses that to her advantage and ensures that he signs her school papers so that she can attend this school to train her magic. And she is a water weaver, so able to control water. And then our other main character is Georgina, who is a working class bookseller. But actually, Nahal's husband is in love with her. And so it's following the drama that unfolds between these three characters and how they all come together. So the unlikely meeting of Nahal and Georgina, how they are bonded through the Daughters of Izdihar. The Daughters of Izdihar is a women's rights group led by another character called Malik. And these two characters come together at these protests and events that are channeling and challenging women's rights and protesting for women to have the vote within this world. I would say that this suffragette style movement is the forefront of the plot within this book, and these female characters trying to take agency over their lives and over their position within this government. My pros and cons for this book, because I am a bit more mixed on this. There wasn't an overriding love, but it fell very much in the middle for me. I think this book is very, very well written, especially for a debut as well. The writing style I really liked, that it was very easy to read, it was immersive, and I really enjoyed the way that Hadeer told the story. So I think it was well written and well plotted. Like, I think the pacing of the book was done well. The way that we progress from one scene to the next, from one character to the next, and the way that the plot moved along. I did also like the elemental magic. I think I would have liked more of a focus on the elemental magic, because we know that both of our main characters, so Nahal is a water weaver and Georgina is a earth weaver. There are powers to control the earth, control water, control fire, control wind, sand. I enjoyed that as a magical concept. And I also really liked the relationships between the characters and the character dynamics between these two women, with them and Nahal's husband, and seeing those relationships grow, and also with Malik, who is the charismatic leader of the Daughters of Izdihar group. So seeing those relationships. The issues that brought this book down for me is, I think, the focus of the book, that it is quite on the nose with its messaging. And personally, for me, I prefer maybe more of an escapism fantasy, that this is very focused on the topic of women empowerment and women rising up to claim the vote, and having that very real world issue as the forefront to the plot. And I am all for women having the vote and women having power and agency. Absolutely, I support that. But I think my preference when reading, especially a fantasy, is for there to be a bit more escapism, and this really zoned in on a real world issue and put this real world issue at the forefront of its plot. And I would prefer it for my fantasy books to just be a little bit more fantasy and just a little bit less on the nose with the messaging. That probably could determine if you're going to like this book or not. I think that if you were like me, then maybe this will fall in the same ballpark for you. Whereas if you don't mind having that real world messaging at the forefront of your narrative, then you will probably really enjoy this. One of the other things that also brought it down was our main character, or what was Nahal's impulsivity. That she has been raised in this world that is led by men, but she's just like ignoring any consequences. She's naive, she's impulsive, she doesn't understand her position within society. Like, obviously these women are rising up, but in this book, they're not in a position of power, and Nahal seems to just go, well, I've come from a wealthy background, so I can get whatever I want, I can do whatever I want. And I'm like, no, you need to actually use your brain some of the time. Like, you need to think about the consequences of your actions prior to taking those actions, because she would just go in all guns blazing, impulsive. I'm like, you need to think things through. She's not clever. And I think I prefer, personally, reading from someone that's clever. That I prefer to read from someone that is cleverer than me And then you have this moment at some point in the book where they reveal their plot and they reveal that they've been planning up to doing something. And as you go, wow, I can see what you've done here. I can see the all the pieces that you've maneuvered into position to get to where you want to be. Like, that's what I prefer in my characters, whereas Nahal just isn't that. She is just, I'm gonna do what I want. This, I don't agree with this, I'm doing this. This annoys me, I'm doing this. And that annoyed me a little bit because I wanted her to use her brain and she didn't use her brain. Those were what brought it down personally for me. I do think it was very well written, so I would potentially be interested in reading the sequel to this duology and seeing if Nahal grows a brain, or reading whatever Hadeer comes out with next. There are my thoughts on both The Daughters of Izdihar and Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia of Faeries. Let me know if I have persuaded you to read either of these, or if you've already read them and what your thoughts are on these, and if there are any other January releases that you have read and really thoroughly enjoyed this month, because I know there have been quite a few coming out this month. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!